I'm Luke Visser. I'm co-founder and CEO of LiveSmart Nutrition. I'm a husband, a dad to our new little girl. For the last 20 years, we have been providing individualized nutrition coaching and programming for a wide array of clients, trying to meet their unique circumstances and goals. When I was 3, my mom got diagnosed with cancer, stage 4, and was given 6 months to live. So she went on this whole journey to try and improve her personal health. LiveSmart was actually birthed in this process of my mom just having these conversations with people in our lounge. And with no marketing, and it was just purely word of mouth, our business started to grow. So that's I would say how I got into it, was through my mom's personal journey with sort of fighting and overcoming cancer.
Okay, before we get into this conversation, I know we're itching, but I wanted to give the 2 teams that make this podcast happen a quick shout out. Firstly, my team from Kive Creative. You guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. We produce high quality, high end podcasts just like this one, and a few others that you've seen floating around on the internet. Secondly, we are in Tim Africa Studios. Tim Africa looks after the publishing, the performance marketing, and the distribution of this show and the content. So thank you to you guys for making this happen. I am also very proud to say that Kive Creative and Tim Africa have strategically partnered to offer you, the listeners, and to people who want to create content just like this, a full house end-to-end podcast solution. Everything from strategy to production to post-production, publishing and performance marketing. We take care of it all. So if you want to start making meaningful content and content that connects with an audience and builds trust, give us a shout and let's start making something together. Let's get back to this episode. To explain to someone, or explain to me for the first time, what LiveSmart does, how would you explain it?
I think what differentiates us is probably not as primarily focused on nutrition as we are the person. So some consults I'll have, there'll be no mention of nutrition. It will really be just trying to meet someone where they're at. And I think a lot of people who are in a bad space sometimes try and look for things that they think they can control, but those aren't necessarily the right levers to pull at that moment in time. So they get fed a whole bunch of nutritional information that doesn't actually serve them. And I think it actually almost keeps them stuck. So first and foremost, I think what we do at LiveSmart is we really try and listen and try and ascertain whether the information we're going to give someone is going to be of value and make an impact, or we're just giving them information for information's sake. So the information that we provide is largely around nutrition. And we see a host of people battling with chronic illness and disease, to athletes, to people who are just looking to get some structure back in their life, try and get in shape, feel confident within themselves again. Some people trying to lose weight so that they can have better longevity and lifestyle with their children. And my primary goal is just to provide structure or a blueprint in order to help them honor themselves. And nutrition and lifestyle changes sort of sit at the cornerstone of that advice.
And it speaks a lot into what my experience has been with you guys, or with you in particular. Yeah, it's been really good. That's cool. Yeah. So what got you into this?
Yeah.
And which will hopefully also, it'll answer the question, why do you do what you do?
Okay. So when I was 3, my mom got diagnosed with cancer, stage 4, and was given 6 months to live.
Okay. 3. So you're 3.
3.5.
Okay.
My youngest brother's just been born. And at that time, my parents had got divorced. And it was just myself, my mom, and my brother. So from a very young age, I've been exposed to a terminally ill parent and watching that battle. At the time, my mom was on a trial for chemo. Um, she was too light to have the medication, but the alternative is she wouldn't have survived anyway. Um, so over that period of time on the chemo, she had 8 blood transfusions, made her very ill. And me, even as young as I was still witnessing and being exposed to that. She did go into remission. And then when I was 13 years old, she got sick again. Also very grim outlook in terms of prognosis from that diagnosis.
So there was a 10-year journey there
Yeah.
up until, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with her at that stage in her life, she wasn't necessarily trying to make any changes to ensure that cancer didn't reoccur. But when I was 13 and she got diagnosed again, I think that sort of kickstarted her into trying to look at alternatives and how to just try and live a healthier life in general. And through her research and that, I would just be there with her, nerding out on that. She was very ill. We had we witnessed a lot of suffering in that period of our lives. And I think through witnessing her journey in that, I think my empathy for people experiencing hardship grew. At 13 years old, I was trying to control how much noise my brothers made and what time my mom was going to bed. So she went on this whole journey to try and improve her personal health. And through that went into remission again. Her oncologist and a few other doctors on her medical team started referring some of their patients just to come and have a conversation with my mom. Not for anything other than maybe just some inspiration, some counseling from someone who had walked a similar journey. So from the age of about 14, I was constantly overhearing conversations in our lounge with my mom, talking to people, encouraging them, motivating them. So I think my journey into nutrition, health, wellness, it's almost like I've grown up in it. It forms part of my DNA. So yeah, when I left school, I studied personal training in my gap year, and then after that, did multiple certificates and diplomas in nutrition, followed by then doing my undergrad in psychology, just because I felt it all tied together quite nicely. I joined, so just to backtrack, LiveSmart was actually birthed in this process of my mom just having these conversations with people in our lounge. And with no marketing, and it was just purely word of mouth, our business started to grow. Well, my mom's business started to grow. And then probably about 10 years after she had started, I ended up joining her in LiveSmart, also consulting and coaching. Does that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's I would say how I got into it was through my mom's personal journey with sort of fighting and overcoming cancer. Yeah.
If you can think back to when you were a teenager and you saw what your mom was doing, you were overhearing some of people's stories. Yeah. Like, why carry on? Why? Like, what grabbed you and put you into this? What was the gravity? What was the center of gravity that was pulling you into this?
I think through experiencing my mom's walk and journey with cancer, in my teenage years, I battled with anxiety that I suppose went undetected because there was more important things at play. So I would say that I was battling with extreme anxiety, depression during my teenage years, as I'm sure a lot of people do. And for me, I think the thing that changed my life was one night committing to doing 30 sit-ups before I went to bed every night. And it was this small little thing that I felt like I could control and had ownership of, that I knew in some way was honoring me. And through the journey of committing to that, obviously adding push-ups and then trying to focus on nutrition. And again, almost being in my mother's orbit and kind of like picking up pieces as I went, witnessing the impact that had on me, my confidence, my mental health, and seeing how the nutritional aspect was unfolding in my mom's life. It wasn't even a choice. This is what I believe in.
Yeah.
I have since I was 13 years old, and at 33, I continued to believe in the
20
exact
years,
same
bro.
thing for 20 years. Yeah.
So you're purely convinced by it because you saw what it was doing to you and your family, or your mom in particular.
As much as I can't take away anyone's suffering, I feel it a huge privilege to play a small part in someone's journey.
Yeah.
If I have the ability or the opportunity to motivate, encourage, inspire someone to do one thing that honors their future self, that lights me on fire.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it, bro. I've absolutely loved my very short journey with you so far. And I think what you're talking about is definitely what I've experienced. And yeah, dude, well done, man. It's
Thank
really
you.
awesome. What do you hope LiveSmart does for people? Or what do you hope LiveSmart does to the world?
A question that I often ask people is, without putting too much thought into it, if you had to rate your opinion of yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, what would it be? The general answer I get is a 3 or 4 out of 10. And I've been hearing that answer for almost 2 decades. And it breaks my heart every time I hear that answer. So I suppose if there was one thing that I could have an impact on, or one thing that I could see, it would be people answering that question with a 10. So I suppose the impact that I'd like to have on this world is to help people honor the future version of themselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so you and your mom are in business together. What did that look like? Being
Constant fights.
father, yeah, I can imagine.
So the only person who is more stubborn than I am is my mom. And we disagreed on everything for the most part. So I think it was this constant power struggle between her and myself, and a lot of healthy competition. I think in her mind the goal was always to hand over LiveSmart. I'm sure that would be anyone's sort of thought process. And my goal was always to get it as soon as possible. Which in hindsight, if she was still here and I could still give her the reins, I definitely would. But yeah, so there was this constant power struggle. I was very young. I'm very naive to the structures of running a business, especially a business that entails selling slots of time. And I just always thought I could do it better. I thought my structure would have definitely worked better. But yeah, in hindsight, I'm very grateful for all the years of mentorship that I had under her as a business owner. But yeah, I think her goal was always to hand over LiveSmart to me.
That's awesome. So how's the approach changed from how your mom was running and leading the business through to how it is now?
Maybe to give some like backstory in terms of, so shortly after myself and my wife got married, my mom was diagnosed with cancer again, which was 16 years after her previous diagnosis.
Okay, so that's quite a while.
Yeah.
So what year was that?
In 2020.
2020, okay.
Literally 2 months before we went into COVID.
Yeah.
So myself and T got married towards the end of 2019. 2020, my mom was diagnosed with cancer again. She was also diagnosed with lupus, which made treating the lung cancer quite difficult. And then shortly after that, we went into COVID. So my mom was very ill. As a matter of fact, the first day we went into lockdown as a country, my mom had to have an operation on her heart. And there was so much chaos because we didn't know what to expect. I'm dropping my mom off at the hospital, can't go in with her. You know, it was
a wild time.
It was a wild time through her sort of like her final journey or final battle with cancer. She obviously had to stop working. So this, I think, was like my first real trial by fire as a now stepping into a role of like, I don't know, business owner, if you will, trying to navigate running a business through COVID with a sick mom who was living with us at the time was challenging. And we had just gotten married. So I remember thinking to myself, well, when I look back on this one day, what version of myself do I want to see? And I had a little deal with myself where before I walked into any room, before I walked into mine and my wife's home, I would stand outside the front door and deliberately leave everything at the door and go in and be the best version of myself. So during this time, I had picked up all my mom's clients as well. So I was seeing probably 20 people a day. I would sleep in my mom's room. She didn't want a caretaker. So during the night, I would help her. My brothers helped out as well. Promised myself that I wouldn't stop gymming. Went to gym at 5 o'clock every morning. Went to work, seeing about 20 people a day. And I was still finishing a third year in one of my degrees at that point. So, and then I'd come home and sit with my mom and study and then go to bed and repeat. So that was like, I suppose, the first trial in me beginning to take over LiveSmart. My mom died later that year, which like was obviously a huge shift for us. She was my best friend, my business partner, and my mom. So that was hard. And we were still coming out of COVID at the time. So she passed away on the Sunday. I started my final exams on the Friday. And because our business was on her property, also was trying to look for more retail space or more office space in the throes of COVID. So had some big decisions to make with regards to taking on a rental or a lease agreement in the throes of COVID.
Those are painful decisions.
Yeah. And trying to finish my degree and trying to grieve my mom and still trying to be present for and honor the clients that were seeing me on a day-to-day basis and still trying to be a decent husband.
Lots at stake there.
Yeah. So I think that was the first time I saw the challenges of running your own business.
Okay, guys, 10 seconds of your time. Please like, share, and subscribe to this show on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Doing this will help the show grow and more people will discover our amazing stories. Back to today's episode. How differently do you run the business to how your mom would have?
Yeah.
Like what's changed? Like what changed and what learnings did you have through that experience?
Yeah. So I think my biggest realization was having a business that is primarily focused on selling time, especially like brick and mortar, is really challenging. So for me, in experiencing that shift and losing a business partner and, you know, the capability of selling hours dropping so drastically at that point in time, I would say the one thing that shift for me is also realizing that the products aspect of our business is just as important as the coaching aspect of our business. So I would say my shift over time, and especially when Tia and I were considering or prepping to have a baby, for me, one of the biggest things was how do I not rely solely on selling time, so I can be more present for my daughter and for my family. So that's continued to almost like drive my passion towards the formulations of our products.
So you guys did you have products when you were running with your mom?
Yeah, we had about 5 products, which we had developed over the years. And And then since then we've added a
Okay.
few more. Yeah.
So you've been substituting time for product in a sense. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're really blessed in that we have a really large legacy-based business, and yeah, super grateful to be in a position where we have clients that have been purchasing products from us for 20 years,
Okay.
which is quite special in like the
Yeah.
nutritional space because it's generally a very fickle industry. So the legacy aspect of our products-based business is a huge blessing to our business model. And with that, my focus is just how do we continue to create products that, as people have been, but that people continue to use month on month.
Mm.
So yeah, I'd say a big drive is to try and increase the products side of our business, and just trying to figure out how to do that in like an ethical way that is authentic to me. Has been a challenge.
What's been challenging about that?
I think just in general how products are or supplements are marketed, and some of the shortcuts brands take in order to increase the profitability of those products. I've just always said to myself that if there's a better way to do something, that's the way we'll choose to do it. So yeah, I think the challenge is how do we continue to do this in a way that there is profit in, but in a way that when I'm standing around a bra and someone that I know well tells me that they're using our protein shake or a supplement of ours, I can feel proud and rest assured that I'm honoring that person in their transaction and in them using our products.
Doing things ethically is really not cost effective
Yeah.
and really difficult because, yeah, for various reasons. But all the way from sourcing through the transparency of your suppliers, and how have you navigated doing that really well, remaining profitable and doing stuff ethically?
Yeah.
How have you done it? Like, how have you walked that journey and managed that?
So I don't think I've done it well from like a business perspective. Um,
Well, it depends how we define that, because, like, what are the metrics we're going after?
yeah. From a me being able to sleep at night perspective, like I've done it to the best of my ability. From a profitability, like business model perspective, probably not. And I'm very much aware, and I constantly have a conversation with myself on a day-to-day basis. Just to give you some context, last year, July, I decided that I was going to do almost like a rebrand, and we were going to bring in new products, start developing new products. So I, in order to do that, had to take some time away from consulting. So I was only consulting twice a week. The rest of the 3 days of the week was doing R&D and development on our products and sourcing. And at that time, I was not drawing an income from LiveSmart. So for the last year, I've put everything back into the business, and have just told myself from the start that if this does become as successful as I would hope it to become, at the end of that, I'd like to be proud of it more than anything else. I'd like to tell people about it and be proud about it, or proud of it. So in the process of like trying to move towards like that future vision of myself, I've kind of just said, like, this is how we're going to do it. And if it doesn't fail because the business model is not good enough, then so be it.
So you get to the end of, whatever the road looks like, you get to the end, whatever that looks like, that's whatever, whether it's 10 or 15 or 5 years away. What does that look like for you? What does success look like to Luke Visser?
I ask myself this question on a daily basis. And to be honest with you, I don't have a clear answer. I have some like ideas, but it's not a solid vision or solid picture just yet. Um,
And that's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, even if I did have a solid vision today, in 5 years' time, it'd be different.
Mm.
And that's cool. So I suppose success for me would be, more than anything, being able to be a present father. Um, creating a business model that enables me to be present for my family. That would be a huge mark of success for me. And then the next mark of success would be, does our brand, does what we stand for, does it inspire, encourage, and impact people's lives? So are more people looking to partner with us as a business? Are we making an impact in individuals' lives? That would be, I suppose, the next measure of success for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So your measurables for success are that you can be a present father and husband,
Yeah.
that you have more people coming alongside and partnering with you, and that you are remaining true to your current clients and
Yeah.
future clients.
Yeah.
What are you really proud of in terms of what you've done and achieved in LiveSmart?
I think the thing that I'm most proud of is, regardless of the trials and tribulations and the things that I've been facing on like a personal level, I have never let that influence how I rock up or show up for my clients on a day-to-day basis. And not in an arrogant or prideful way at all, but especially looking over like the period of my mom passing away, I was as pumped to be in front of my clients back to back every day, being there for them in that season as I have been in any other season of my life. So I think I'm proud of that like fortitude. It's important to me, and it's something that like I do my best to honor.
In terms of milestones for business, what have you been really proud of in terms of that?
So from a purely like business orientated perspective, like I said, last year, sort of June, July, decided to do this rebrand in line with us trying to push more of the retail side of the business. And we've done it bootstrapped. And I've learned to wear many hats in the process. And I think the products that we've released between me making that decision and now, I'm really proud of. So I think the R&D that we've done on our products and the products that we have released, I think that's been a big milestone for us.
What's the community buying into at the moment?
So a lot of our legacy clients are still ordering or using a supplement of ours called NeuroSmart, which we've had since about 2006. And then generally like our omega-3 EPA and DHA, as well as our magnesium. Like I'd say a large part of our legacy base and a lot of the new clients that we've seen coming through are using those products quite regularly. Our whey protein that we released has been quite a hit.
It's very tasty.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Luke.
Yeah, so I spent a year trying to source that protein and get the flavor profiles just right on it. So when you see those sort of things come to fruition, because in the throw of it, the electrolyte product that we just released, we've been R&Ding since November last year. And obviously, like that's also a very costly process to go through. And there'll be something where, it's there, but it's not quite there. And it's that decision to go, okay, do we just put it into production so that we can start selling it? Or do we keep paying to get it 100% there? And there's like this constant little battle that I have with myself all the time. It's not really a battle. It's a thought process. And I'm constantly proud of the fact that I, always choose the latter. Like, let's get this right before we release it.
Are you looking to hit 100% of the markers? Yeah. Or are you saying, okay, well, let's get at least 95% of the way there?
I don't want to be one of these people who are like, yeah, I do everything 100%. And but to every fiber within my being, I will not bring out a product unless it's 100%.
Okay.
I'd rather not have it.
You said you're an Enneagram type 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Competitive achiever.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. It needs to be better.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's very cool. So, geez, dude, you've gone from losing your mom, taking over the business, trying to remain true to yourself, true to your family and your clients. We all went through COVID. We went through the riots. We went through flooding. Like, it just feels like everything's been thrown at you.
Yeah.
There was this Xero ad going around at one stage, Xero Accounting, that said, was this whole campaign about business owners being self-made. And it's like, it's absolute trash because no business owner is self-made. And Craig, you guys can go and listen to that episode. It's really good. But there is no one that is self-made because you'd be on Mars with no one around. But even the fact that you're on, like, it's just the most absurd thing. So who's been really significant in guiding you along the process of business ownership and getting to where you are now? Who's mentored you? Like, who's played that role in your life?
So, and again, I think like you're alluding to, there's always many people that come alongside us, and I have incredible people in my life. We are blessed with our friends. I have incredible brothers. So I'm surrounded by incredible people, and I would give all accolade to them. I have a great business coach. I have great business mentors. I have a life coach that I just go and deload with. And all those people are great. But like my inspiration comes from my mom.
That's awesome.
She has been the biggest mentor, giant slayer that I've had the privilege of witnessing. There was just nothing that she backed down from. She just refused to quit. And in the spite of hectic challenges, never gave up. And I think that's been role modeled to me my entire life. And on the days where, like you say, like running a business is tough and it gets hectic, and there's many days, probably every day, I have a conversation with myself going like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Like, this is hard. Like, I'm not sure what tomorrow looks like. It's challenging. But every single day, I just ask myself, if my mom was here and I could have this conversation with her, what would be the outcome of that conversation? And the outcome of that conversation would be, I would keep rocking up.
Pitch up every day.
Yeah, so she has been by far the biggest mentor anyone I could have ever asked for.
Could you share with us like the maybe top 2 or 3 things that you've learned from your mom that's really impacted your life in the way you run business?
Yeah, sure.
I'm frothing to hear.
So an analogy comes to mind when you ask that question.
Okay.
I one day was having a little freak out about something that was probably pretty insignificant, but to me at the time was significant. And my mom sat me at our kitchen table like she did often. And we would always play cards around the kitchen table whenever there was challenge. We would play cards and just talk. And I was battling to make a decision on something at one point, which was pivotal to me at the time. And my mom used this analogy, and I'm not sure whether she got it from someone, but the way in which she used this analogy was how I describe now. She said to me, Luke, life is almost like a train trip. If you decide that you want to be in Cape Town, you can go to the train station and buy a ticket, climb on the train and make your way to Cape Town. And if on the way to Cape Town, you meet someone who's really cool on the train and they're like, I'm stopping in PE, you can choose to get off at PE and go and experience it and see what it's like. And if you don't like it, you can go buy a ticket again and climb back on the train and keep going to Cape Town. And when you get to Cape Town, just because you've told yourself that's what it needs to be. When you're there and you don't like it, you can go back to the train station and you can choose to go to another destination. And I think like when we do that in faith, or when we live like that in faith, it's a really freeing way to think about things. So that in business, I kind of have the same approach where I'm like, I'm going to buy this ticket for this. And if it doesn't work, or if it's not what I expected it to be, like I trust that like in that process, I'm learning and growing, and that's how we get to the destination that does set our heart on fire. Or does bring us joy. So I think that's one of like the biggest analogies that she's
That's awesome.
imparted on me.
I guess just unpacking that a little bit would be it's not a one-way ticket somewhere. We in some way create our own destiny. Like we get to choose.
Yeah.
So you get to choose, and if we choose something and it doesn't work, then cool. Just move on to something else.
We're making decisions on a day-to-day bias or day-to-day basis with our like limited worldview and our biases. Like you've got to have some grace for yourself. And I think that when we make that decision based on the fact that it can change, it actually almost encourages us to make the decision and stick to it for a bit. Whereas a lot of people think that when they make this decision, if it's not right, there's trouble.
Have you dealt with that? Like, how have you managed the amplification of those beliefs?
Yeah.
And those small little signals, and how have you put them to rest or dealt with them?
Yeah.
As a business owner.
So I have those amplifications like loud all day, every day. It's a constant battle for me. I'm constantly second guessing myself and doubting the decisions I make and whether they're right. And again, I have a very solid support structure around me. Very like logic-based people. Honestly, the thing that I think has kept me sort of pushing forward in spite of it all is journaling. So I generally journal probably every night. And on the nights I do, the noise is a little bit quieter. And I generally journal under a few headings. One of them is negative thoughts from today. So just bring it to the light. I think that when you do that and you reflect on it, like I feel like God almost enables you to see whether it was true or not. And often it isn't. Another journal heading I have is the lessons I learned today, my expectations for tomorrow, and then the things that I'm grateful for. Those are pretty much stock standard for me, and it helps me keep the noise down.
That's awesome.
On the gratitude thing, my mom would always say to me, Luke, if you only woke up today with what you thanked God for last night, would you be okay? And it's something like, even when I repeat it today, it always stops me in my tracks, and I'm like, no, like I wouldn't be. So I think that's what helps me calm down the noise.
So almost amplifying it yourself rather than it be amplified by default, and you just process it.
Yeah, lean into it.
I would say I've learned more about myself as a business owner than most other things in my life.
Like you say, it's an extension of who you are. So I think it's this reflective board of all your decisions and your morals and your management style.
That's good.
The things that you deem important, or staring back at you every single month.
Yeah. So the theme I had with this discussion in my mind that I didn't really bring to light with you is something that I saw on your guys' social media last week, which I thought really encapsulates this discussion and who you are and what the service you provide. And I don't know if it's a campaign or something you guys are running, but it's entitled Be Your Own Hero.
Yeah.
And I've just had that sitting at the back of my mind the whole time we've been at this table. And it's been really awesome to hear your story as Luke and the service that you bring. Can you unpack that a little bit about be your own hero? Because I really believe like that's exactly what you do. You are empowering, from my perspective, you're empowering someone to be their own hero. And every person is their own hero in their story.
Yeah.
So just share a little bit about that with us.
When I mentioned earlier about like trying to navigate being authentic as a brand, like I think in today's world, like these extremes sell, right? Like everything has to be extreme in order to capture attention. So we need to be doing like these massive things as a company, or boasting about how much weight a client of ours lost, or this massive life transforming moment that looks good on social media. And that just doesn't resonate with me. For me, like the winner's a busy dad getting in a paddle game after work because that's as much as he can handle on top of everything he's juggling. Like that for me that's cool. It's the mom who's at home with her 2 kids all day and struggling to feel confident within herself or feel like she's got any time for herself. And it's that woman deciding to do 10 push-ups before she climbs into the shower every night. Like that is what I'm passionate about. By all means, I love to see people achieve like big things for themselves. But that notion of being your own hero is that if success for me is very different to success for anyone else. And I think particularly in this like nutrition industry, we have this picture of what like success and health looks like. And that is just not what we're about. Again, for me, it's the person who squeezes in a 10-minute walk because that's what they've got time to do today. It's the person who made a choice to do 30 sit-ups before they went to bed, or to have tea instead of Nesquik tonight. Like when people make those small choices, they are becoming or honoring their future self, and they're being their own hero. And as a company, that's what we're about. To see that and to celebrate people doing that, not perpetuating some idea that until you've run a marathon in a certain time or until you have abs, you're not there yet. Because that's just not real life.
Yeah. It's good, Brew. It's so good. And I've really appreciated that in our journey. It's been really, really awesome seeing you and being a part of that journey, but helping people understand that they are the hero of their journey. And as much as you're the hero of your journey, and it's been really, really awesome to hear your story.
Thanks,
I think so many guys come and sit down in your office, or I don't know, what do you call it? Your consultation room, or what do you call it?
We refer to it as our office.
What do you guys call it?
Our office.
Office. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So sitting in the room with you and you hearing their stories and helping point them in the right direction, and being the masters of their destiny and creating their future and becoming more and more of their own hero. The same has been with you, just hearing your story. And yeah, you're the hero of your story. You're a hero in your community. And it's really awesome to hear it.
Thanks, Luke. And thanks for giving me the opportunity and platform to be questioned by you.
Awesome. I'm glad I could convince you. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we stop.
Yeah.
Where can we find you online?
Sure. We're not big online people, but we have started making an effort on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we have a website. It's livesmartnutrition.co.za.
Don't just type in livesmart.co.za because that takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, livesmartnutrition.co.za. And then our Instagram page is livesmartnutrition, I think. Yeah,
we'll put all those details in the description below, and we'll make sure that you got that right.
Cool.
And if you didn't, it's okay, because that's something else you.
Yeah, it's not my strong suit.
No, that's fine. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Luke,
Thanks very much, Luke.
shot, bro.